this is a version of Newspeak where we have this experimental extension turned on, which lets us look at methods in a live context at all times. So this looks a bit like a debugger, right? We've got method code here, and we've got something showing us the state. There's an instance here, self, which is a mutable array list. That's basically the equivalent of ordered collection. There are buttons here for evaluation, for stepping over, and so forth. So it looks a lot like a debugger, but it's really just a class browser. Any method you look at will have a context like this in this extension, and the trick is to figure out how to fill in the values. So if we go here and we start, for example, we say something like add 3 here, we can evaluate that, and this time it doesn't bomb, it works. And this does actually evaluate to 3 because this method returns its argument. But the interesting thing here is now that the display of self shows us that it does contain 3. And if I evaluate it again, right, we can keep adding these 3's to it. But even more interesting perhaps is that I'd like to be able to evaluate this, the actual statements in the method. And of course E doesn't have a binding. This is something that the environment should do a better job of finding an example value for. But let's just say that we'll give E a value, and now we can call this, and now we've got 4 there, right? And we can keep adding 4's. So this addresses the weakness that we saw in the Strongtalk example, where the text of the instances is now live, because there are bindings for every value. And the basic idea here is that whenever you look at text, you should not look at dead text. You should look at the text as a model of a live interactive programming with example values that you can play with and interact with.